Now to the final of the women's 5,000 meters. 3 world-class Kenyans, 3 world-class Ethiopians. Gide, double world junior cross-country champion. Eilish McColgan for Great Britain. Sifan Hassan, Hellen Obiri, Laura Muir for Great Britain, just missed a medal in the 15. Obiri, huge athlete of experience. Teferi, brilliant performer from Ethiopia. And there's Ayana, hoping to do the double, having won the 10,000 in fine style on Saturday night. Big field, this one. 15 athletes, 6 absolutely sensational East Africans, and a whole host of others who'll fancy they can get in the mix. But is this the night when Hellen Obiri delivers an outdoor global gold? World indoor champion over 3,000, silver last year in Rio. She looks poised, she looks nervous, but she's in cracking form. But what a race this is going to be over 5,000 meters. 2 talented Americans, 2 Britons. And is this the night that Hellen Obiri, a bit like Barshim in the high jump, delivers her first senior global outdoor gold? We will take you through the lineup. It's the final of the women's 5,000 meters. A field packed with talent. Tiranish Dababa, one of only 2 women to have done the 5 and 10,000 meter double. Back in 2005, Vivian Chariot in 2011. Almaz Ayana hoping to do the same. Gide, very talented Ethiopian, double world junior cross-country champion. Sifan Hassan. Obiri, hard to call her the favourite, but she's in really good form. She's won 10 out of her 12 races this year. Will Almaz Ayana manage to double up where she struggled a little bit in the 5,000 last year in Rio? The defending champion, the reigning world and Olympic champion over 10,000 metres. But when she tried to double up in Rio last year, she ran out of gas on the last few laps and faded to 3rd. From Inns of the Netherlands. Julian, one of 2 Americans. Teferi, silver medalist in the World Cross and the 10,000 metres 2 years ago. 3rd fastest in the world this year. A brilliant young talent at the age of 22. Obiri, don't rule her out if it's tactical. Laura Muir, so close to a medal in the 15. Denied by Caster Semenya, finished 4th. A second chance of a medal for Great Britain in front of the home crowd. World indoor champion over 3,000 metres. Fastest woman in the world this year. Silver medalist in the Olympics. Is it going to be gold for Obiri tonight? Hassan, very fast, just missed a medal in the 15. Eilish McColgan, PB in qualifying. Very close to her mum's personal best over 5. Remember, mum Liz won the 10,000 in the searing heat of Tokyo in '91. Letesenbet Gide, I watched her win the World Cross in Kampala as a junior. She's a huge talent, still only 19. Molly Huddle, agonisingly eased up in the final of the 10 in Beijing, and her compatriot Emily Infeld came through to deny her the bronze. 8th in the 10,000 this time. Gezahein, former world indoor champion, and Sheila Kiprotich on the inside for Kenya, African champion last year, former world youth champion as well. An absolutely loaded field, this one. Is it Obiri's day to shine, or can Ayana do the famous 5,000, 10,000 double? Oh, with such an experienced field, you might think it might be tactical, but look at this. Kalkidan Gezahein, the former Ethiopian who represents Bahrain, former world indoor champion over 1,500. She's gone out very hard. Gezahein of Bahrain went to the front really quickly,
yes,
and all of a sudden it's, well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, with their jogging, they really are. Obiri there just really blowing her nose as she runs along here. It's ridiculous pace. Hassan moved to the front. I thought she was going to inject a bit of pace. Ayana, they're just jogging on the spot. And this is got to be, they've got to be careful when this happens, because those behind are getting anxious. And just as I say that, Ayana kicks in. Now remember, Ayana won the 10,000 metres. Her last 5,000 metres, the last half of the 10, she ran in 14:24, and that has only been beaten this year by the girl that's the woman, I should say, in second place, Obiri, in just the 5,000. So she ran the second half of the 10 faster than any of the other athletes in this race have raced this year. Now she really needs to use that strength. She really needs to take the sting out of someone like Obiri, because Obiri now knows what she's got to do. She's got to shadow Ayana as best she can.
Well, it's an insane pace, really, because it looked as though Ayana was taking it on, as she loves to do and did in the 10, and then she slowed it right down again. As Teferi, the silver medalist in the 10,000 metres from Beijing, now takes it on, but they're not exactly rocking and rolling. Obiri's got a really good range of distances, Steve. Won the Rome 5,000, won the London Diamond League mile here, and won the 3,000 in Monaco. She's in cracking form across a range of distances, stamina and speed.
What we mustn't forget is, like the steeplechase, if the Africans mess around, slowing the pace right down, then the Americans, Huddle, Roby and Houlihan, as we saw in the steeplechase for women, they could take advantage of this slow pace. So it is really, at the moment, open to everybody.
2:40 for the first 800 metres is incredibly slow by the standards of these world-class women. Teferi from Ayana. Guide, watch for Guide. She's an absolutely brilliant youngster. Just tucked in on the inside of Obiri, Kiprotich and Kip Kemberley.
Ayana now started to really pile on the pace. It really was ridiculous for those first 2 laps, and it really is playing to the hands, if they carried on like that, of the fast finishers. Hassan, just in about 6th or 7th place, would be loving the fact that it was slow, but then Ayana started kicking it in, and Obiri now just behind, and they're starting to string out in Indian file.
This is a familiar pattern in the races with Almaz Ayana, aiming to replicate the 10,000 metre double secured by her compatriot Tirunesh Dibaba, the world record holder in Helsinki in 05. Vivian Chariot also did the double in Daegu, and look at this, Ayana off the front with Obiri, the 2 main protagonists locked together. Ayana where she likes to be, leading, but Obiri is tracking her every move. And with 10 wins from 12 races this year, Obiri will not be intimidated by the world and Olympic champion and world record holder over 10,000 metres. Obiri will believe this is her best distance, with Ayana's best at 10,000.
Well, we saw Ayana in the heats really struggle with a sprint, so she knows what she's got to do here. And in that 1 lap, she has split the rest of the field up into groups. Just behind her, Obiri, then Teferi just behind that, with the others just in a group of 4 or 5 there, and then the main group behind that of about 7 athletes.
Yes, it's Ayana leading with 8 to go, followed by Obiri, Teferi, Guide, and then the 2 other Kenyans. That's the best of the rest. Gezahein, the Bahrainian, leading that group with the young Dutch athlete Kroemins, coming now past Gezahein, the former world indoor champion, deciding that she needs to try and chase down her compatriot Sifan Hassan, who's at the back of the second group. These two are away and now embroiled in a massive duel. There's Krumins, 66.2 there for Almaz Ayana. Obiri tracking Krumins. That's the third group. They're on the right of your picture there. There's the second group of chasers containing 5. It's Gide, the 19-year-old, leading Kemboy, Kiprotich, Hassan and Teferi. Wow. This is great to see, Steve. 2 women at the peak of their powers. Both want the gold. Both not afraid to put it out there with 7 laps to go. It's a brave early move from Ayana, knowing that Obiri's in such good form immediately behind her.
She certainly is. I mean, this is the race we all expected. It wasn't really going to be, I don't think, fast from the start. They were both playing around there, waiting perhaps for someone to help out with the pace. But now that there wasn't, Ayana decides, well, this is it. I'm going to stretch everybody out. The gap is widening between Ayana and Obiri. There's now, 20 metres for the chasing group. So the pace is relentless. The big question is whether Obiri can sustain staying with the woman. Dropping a little bit there, that's a 68.
Well, we're so often used to these races being cat and mouse, but we're now beginning to see a familiar pattern where Ayana is concerned. She absolutely puts the hammer down and rips these races to pieces. And by the way, what was a second chase group has splintered, and Krumins is bringing 1 or 2 of them back to what is now a really big chase group. That's good work from the tall Dutchwoman who closes down on the 2 Ethiopians just ahead of her. And Laura Muir now tagging on to the back, closing in on Obiri, with Julian also very much in the mix. Gezahein looks like she's really struggling. She's off the back. But still, Steve, a huge gap up to the world indoor champion Obiri in second. Ayana bidding for the double. These two with a lead of somewhat 30 metres or so. What a race this is turning out to be between Almaz Ayana and Hellen Obiri.
But Ayana must sense, really, Obiri is there. She's literally clipping her heels all the way. This is the race we anticipated, and it is really delivering, because Ayana is pushing ahead now. They've got almost 100 metres on the rest of the field. Hassan, I think, is in third place at the moment. Just behind her, Teferi, and a group of 2 or 3 vying for that bronze medal, I suppose, if these two keep it going, and I can't see them not doing that. Ayana, every time she comes down the straight, she looks up at the scoreboard and she sees that Obiri is there. If she can't see it, she must sense it. Well, we've seen some great races in the 5,000 metres, didn't we? With Kajalcha taking it really to Mo Farah over the last lap, and then Idris coming through. That was a great 5,000. We've got a great 5,000 here because these are the main protagonists, Ayana and Obiri.
An absolutely enormous lead for the 2 women vying for this world title. Hassan leads the chasers. It's Kip Kemboy in 4th, another 68-second lap. There's Kip Kemboy. Teferi there is in 5th place with Krumins just behind her. Muir and Obiri tracking Gide, but they have become a little bit detached from Kiprotich, who is now coming up onto the shoulder of Krumins and closing down the three women currently battling for bronze. But this is the duel we wanted to see, Steve. It's the might of the East Africans. 3 laps to go in the final of the women's 5,000 metres. Separated by the Great Rift Valley, the best of Ethiopia against the best of Kenya. A great rivalry, but what unites them is their love of distance running. It's the #1 sport in both countries, and in Addis Ababa and Nairobi and all across the rural areas of both beautiful countries, people will be listening to radios and watching on television to see which nation in this great rivalry tonight comes out on top.
2.5 laps to go. Ayana really has now got to start piling it on, because Obiri knows that she's coming in to the sort of distance that she can cope with if it's a sprint. Ayana pushing hard. Every single stride that she does is matched by the woman behind her. Coming in now to 2 laps, 800 metres of the track. Ayana, I don't think, has got the sort of leg speed that Obiri has got. Maybe she'll prove me wrong, but she's got to start stretching out now. She's got to start pushing, because the shadow behind her has not moved. Teferi is in third, Hassan just behind her. Those are chasing for the bronze.
Inside the last 2 laps in this, the final of the women's 5,000 metres. Ayana hoping to produce a truly historic double over 5 and 10,000 metres. Obiri, world indoor champion over 3,000. A world crown could await her here, and look at this. 650 metres to go. Obiri tries to come on the outside. Ayana says no, and Obiri's really going to have to earn this one. 69.2, they've slowed a fraction.
Well, that was really, really important. Obiri tried there, didn't she? And Ayana said, no, I'm not beaten yet. You're going to have to stay behind me. You're going to have to wait. And by doing that, she's put the pressure on Obiri. She said to you, I'm ready. If you come past me, I'm still going to be there. We're coming up now to the last lap in the women's 5,000 metres. This epic battle between two of the greatest women distance runners is about to go over the last lap.
They take the bell in the final of the women's 5,000 metres. A sellout crowd here at the World Championship are roaring both women on. They're putting absolutely everything on the line here. An incredible duel. They are taking each other to places they didn't know existed. And look at Hellen Obiri. She is streaking away from Almaz Ayana. She's been the world indoor champion. She has so often come up close. The Olympic silver medalist is going to become the world champion here. She's beating one of the all-time greats. The world record holder and Olympic champion over 10,000 metres is beaten into silver as Obiri has the whole crowd on their feet. It's a golden, glorious moment for Kenya. Hellen Obiri is finally on top of the world. What a run from the Kenyan. Absolutely sensational. Almaz Ayana settles for silver this time, and what a bronze for Sifan Hassan, having just missed out in the 1,500 metres. The battle was on. Ayana held firm, but when Obiri struck down the back straight, at that point the Ethiopian was broken, and she instantly knew that it was destined to be silver over the 5,000. Hellen Obiri with the performance of her life, and she will without doubt be the toast of the Kenyan team tonight.
A great run from Obiri. She did everything she had to do, and so did Ayana. Ayana couldn't give any more. She won the 10. She came back. Hassan, great performance from her. She came so hard over that last 400 metres to take that bronze medal. Wow, wonderful, wonderful competition there, really. It lived up to the expectations. The first 2 or 3 laps, though, I think were pedestrian. Maybe that destroyed the time, because the time wasn't that fast in the end. 14:34. They came home fast, but that ridiculous 2 or 3 laps as they started the race really dropped the pace. but it didn't affect the result, I don't think.
Do you know what was so enjoyable about that, Steve? As Obiri scorched home with a 60-second last lap. What was so enjoyable about that, from a distance running fan's perspective, both of them not afraid to take it on. They knew how good they both were. They knew how good the other one was, and they were pouring their hearts out on that track. There was nothing left in the tank from either women. A really brave run from both of them, and what an effort from Ayana to try and do the golden double. Gold and bronze in Rio last year, gold and silver this time. What a fine, fine athlete she is, even though she's lost her title here tonight. No disgrace with that silver medal at all.
Well, her side there, congratulating Obiri, gold and bronze. But yeah, it's a great race. It really was. All credit to Ayana. It is so hard to lead and try and take the sting out of your competitors, especially when they're there every single step of the way, every single lap. The concentration that woman must have had just to keep going is intense. This is Obiri, though, just relaxing through. That last lap, as we said, 60 seconds, but she didn't kick until over the back straight, so she probably run well under 60 if she'd have kept going all the way.
At last, a global senior outdoor title for Hellen Obiri. The Form Woman of the Year beats the world record holder and the victor here over 10,000 metres. Tonight, though, belonged to Obiri. Hellen Obiri is the world champion. What a fine, fine burst of speed on the last lap. Almaz Ayana the silver this time after gold in the 10, and Sifan Hassan picks up the bronze.